Hey guys, Thad
And Grayson.
here for Iowa Budget RC, and it's time to pull the back half of this Falcon off. I want to inspect everything, basically because as I was looking at it, although this thing feels good when you spin it, there's a ton of like end play. I don't know if you can see that on the hello fingers on the axle shafts. Look at that. So I'm going to pull it apart, and I've got Team JB bearings. I might as well put new bearings in it. I do have a new set of gears if it needs anything. I don't think it will, but you never know. And so that's kind of the plan. So I'm going to start by, I'll take the shocks off the shock tower up here, and then take the screws that hold the bulkhead to the tub, and we'll kind of go from there. But that's the plan. So I will bring you back when we've got some progress. All right, guys, got the bulkhead off. There's only 4 screws and then the 2 shock screws that hold it on. I will pull the shocks off, and we'll go through them. Here are those dog bones, and I swore these things were metal, and they feel like they're metal. Like maybe a Parkerized kind of phosphate coated metal, but they do look very similar to where are they at? The CRPs. So maybe these are CRPs, just older ones. I really don't know. We will, I guess maybe one of you guys might know, but yeah. So anyway, I'm gonna pull the screws out that hold the cage on here, and then get the 2 halves of the gearbox apart, and we will look and see what's inside. Hopefully nothing major needs to be done, and can just be cleaned up, greased up, and ready to put back together. We'll throw a sport tune in it and throw everything back together. So anyway, I'll bring you back. All right, guys, we got her apart, and look at that. So that's exactly why I wanted to pull this thing apart. And there's so much play in there. The gear assembly, there's very little grease in here. And, you know, even though this kind of felt good on the bench, you know, there's issues with it. So, got a bushing in there. I'm going to replace all the bushings with the bearings that we have, and put some fresh grease in here, put a sport tuned in it, and we should be good to go. So I will bring you back when I get to the point, and we'll make sure that, you know, like the case is not wallered out or anything. If it is, I do have another one, but we'll go from there. All right, guys, so I got Grayson holding on to this thing, and I wanted to show you, this is why you don't use bushings. That is a bushing, and look how much play is in that. So that's why that had so much up and down play like that. And it did kind of do a little bit of damage to the case. But that being said, I think with a new bearing in there, because where the bearing retainer is, it should be okay. So I'm gonna get the other side apart, and it's got about the same amount of play, and we'll judge then if I'm going to use the new cases or if I'm going to use these. All right, this side isn't as bad. So like I said, I'm going to go ahead and get this all cleaned up and put bearings in it, make sure that the bearings hold into the cases. If they don't, then I will use the other cases that I have that are in good shape. They're probably in better shape, but yeah, we'll see. Okay, well, I've decided that since I have the other gear case, and I actually have another set too, but this is in much better shape, as you can see, and it's nice and clean inside. I think this came from the stuff that Keith had given us. So I think I'm going to throw bearings in this. I'm gonna throw bearings in this gear and just get everything greased up and thrown back together. All right, guys, got everything all back together. It's all greased and has bearings in it. So now I'm gonna throw the two halves together. Just use my Horizon Hobbies Dynamite Marine Grease and gonna get it all back together so we can get this a little farther along here. All right, got this thing back together. There's no more giant amounts of clay here. No more ridiculous big washer, one of these on either side, which, you know, I don't know why they put those in there. That's ridiculous. You know, I don't know if they were trying to save the case or what, but yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and get the sport tune mounted. I'm also going to take all my best parts for the cage and put the cage all together. And then I'm going to have Grayson clean up the shocks for me. That will give him something to do and he'll learn something. All right, got the cage with all my best parts ready to go. It's got a few little scratches in it, but that's the nicest one out of all of them. And got the gear case ready to go. Got the Robinson Racing pinion sitting here ready to go onto the new Sport Tuned. And so, yeah, coming right back together. Next step's gonna be Grayson gonna clean up the shocks for me. So we'll go through those and make sure everything's okay, add new oil, whatever we need to do. So anyway, coming right along. All right, so I took one apart, showed Grayson what to do. He's gonna pull this second one apart. They're not leaking, and Grayson just dropped a piece.
And I dropped all his electrical tape.
Which, whatever, I don't care. Just get it done. Here.
I got it.
Okay.
Fingies. My fingers are just strong like that.
So he's unscrewing the shock clevis.
Clevis.
Okay. No, leave that on there. Let that go. Take the spring off.
O-ring seems good.
Okay.
Now I'm gonna take that off. Now I'm going to
be careful taking that off because you don't make sure that's tight because that's a seal also. Okay.
Okay, so don't want to spill it.
These have thick shock oil in them, so you're not going to spill it.
Come on.
Okay, it's full, and look at the end of the cap. Look at the end of the cap. Make sure the bladder looks okay, which it does. So now you can put the cap back on it.
The bladder? The organ?
Don't cross thread it.
I'm not trying to. I'm gonna do it with my right hand.
Come on, child.
I'm cross threading it.
So I'm gonna give him a hand here, but
no, you're not.
He's gonna clean up the springs and clean up the shocks.
You're not gonna give me a hand. I can do it. I'm a big boy. See? I'm a big boy.
All right, so now I'm gonna have him take these and clean them up and make them look pretty. All right, we got the shocks all cleaned up, checked out. Everything looks good. And got them screwed back into there. Got the bulkhead ready to go back on with the rebuilt gearbox and the Sport Tune motor. And I'm using the new CRP dog bones. I do think I might put a O-ring in one side or the other just to kind of help hold them in there, because I've heard that Falcon dog bones like to pop out, so that's something I might try. But yeah, it's all ready to go back together. So I will bring you back when I've got this screwed back on. All right, got the Falcon hooked up to the holiday buggy here to test servo. Everything seems to be working good. So now I can go forward and get this front bulkhead put back on there. Got the back one on, and I'll show you that in a second. All right, and as I said, I'd show you the back half here. So shocks are all hooked up. I did find one tiny little crack in the shock tower here. I do have another one, but with having a through bolt there and the crack's not all the way down or anything, I'm not going to worry about it for right now. As we've said before, this is not going to get run hard. So I got that brand new sport tuned in there. Everything's looking good. So now I'm going to get the front servo, everything buttoned up with this, and get the bulkhead put back on it, and we should be in business. All right, guys, Pinky is together. Obviously, those wheels are a little out of balance. They need some foams or something inside of them, but maybe they'll run out a little better as we run it. But yeah, man, this thing looks awesome. And I did take the collars off the back shocks because as you were spinning the wheels, the dog bones were bound up and wanted to pop out, and that ain't cool. So yeah, we've got a complete Falcon minus electronics. I am going to get some long 3mm screws that will go all the way through because it's on there, but I don't trust how it's on there. So anyway, that's what she's gonna look like with Pinky on it. And I still don't have the wing mount supports from Bryce yet for the black body, but I will throw that on here and show you here in a second. Here we've got the chassis all back together, all screwed back together. The screws that I had for the front, the machine screws, were a little bit long, so I double nutted them, and I think that looks okay for now. Maybe I'll find some Tamiya headlights or something to put up there, just to be different. But yeah, got that sport tuned in there. I wish they'd put it so the stickers were the right way up, or you could put the sticker on yourself, but you know, it is what it is. And then here it is with the Team Blue Groove body. So obviously it's going to have the wing on it and have the Born to Be Wild on the wing and all that kind of stuff. But yeah, man, what a good looking buggy. You know, I can tell putting this thing together and whatever, these things definitely have some major weaknesses. So how much we will run it, I don't know. Look at that driver figure in there. Red, white, and blue. But I'm happy to have this as part of the collection and as a shelf queen, whatever. And if I run it, I run it. If I don't, I don't. But I don't think this is going to be the last time you'll see this Falcon. So anyway, guys, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this series of restoration. I'm Thad.
I'm Jason.
With Iowa Budget RC. You guys have a great day. Don't forget to hit that like and subscribe, and check out our merch store, iowabudgetrcbashers.com.